The more unique an animal looks physically, the more it attracts attention. People have been interbreeding different species of animals for a while now, and the results are astounding. Have you heard of a Zubrin? What about a goldfish? There are many hybrid species that will surprise you when you see them. So hold on tight and don't blink, as we count down 15 creepy animals created by humans in a lab. Number 15. Leonardo the Laguar. He may be capable of quick bursts of speed in the wild, but he walks slowly, taking his time, broad-shouldered and silent. Leonardo has a name and a backstory. Leo, a jaguar-leopard mix that spent the first few years of his life with a Las Vegas magic show, saw his handlers extract his canine teeth and claws. But the claw removal was botched. When things didn't work out in Vegas, he ended up in a Douglas Zoo, where he spent his days in a 10 by 12 cage with visitors throwing sticks at him to get up to charge the fence. The zoo went bankrupt, and a rescue center took him in. His feet would swell up and a lot of pus would come out. Because removing a jaguar's canines affects the structure of the jaw, he had to eat soft food. He was nursed back to health by a Phoenix animal hospital and was treated with respect. Leo liked to sprawl in front of the chain-link fence and rub up against it. He lounged in the shade, a carpet of grass beneath him, like a 200-pound house cat. Unfortunately, Leo died in 2020. Number 14. Rackelhan. When a female capercaillie does not find males at her usual lekking site and instead joins a black grouse lek, hybrids between two species can develop. The Rackelhan is a hybrid cock that is most likely incapable of reproducing in the wild. As you can see in the video, it's a nice looking bird, and I just love the red eyebrows on this bird and the huge tail that sort of spreads out like a peacock. This is quite a unique looking bird. Number 13. Glowfish. You've seen them at the pet store. Those brightly colored fish that look uncannily similar. They're known as glowfish, and there's a reason why they look so familiar. They're nothing more than common species that have been genetically modified to produce a fluorescent color. Contrary to popular belief, they are not dye-injected or artificially colored. They get their color from their parents genetically, though there is some human intervention. If you've been looking for a unique way to spice up your tank, glowfish could be the answer. If you've never seen glowfish before, the name alone conjures up a vivid image. These are simply freshwater aquarium fish with a brilliant fluorescent coloration. Glowfish come in every color of the rainbow, including red, orange, green, blue, pink, and purple. Number 12. Hinny. The offspring of a female donkey and a male horse is known as a hinny. A hinny is described as having a donkey's body and horse's legs. Since a donkey mare is smaller than most horses, hinnies are smaller and less common than mules. Since it is difficult to tell the difference between a mule and a hinny, hinnies are often misidentified as mules. Hinnies are referred to as males and females in the same way that mules are. Male mules and hinnies have the same anatomical characteristics as female mules and hinnies. They are difficult to monitor and should be castrated to deal with their actions. Mules and hinnies come from a range of colors, varying solid colors to paints and Appaloosa markings, depending on their owners. Owing to interbreeding, a mule or hinny has 63 chromosomes, while donkeys and horses have 62 and 64 respectively. Mules are unique breeders because of their odd number of chromosomes. Number 11. Vacanti mouse. The Vacanti mouse was a laboratory mouse with a human ear grown on its back. The ear was an ear-shaped cartilage structure that was grown by seeding cow cartilage cells into a biodegradable ear-shaped mold, and then implanted under the mouse's skin, with an external ear-shaped splint to maintain the desired shape. The cartilage then grew on its own within the confines of the restricted shape and size. The splint was temporarily removed to take publicity photos. Charles A. Vacanti created the e-mouse as it became known. The findings were based on the work of numerous other researchers who seeded cells onto scaffolds to regenerate organs. The mouse used is known as a nude mouse, and it is a commonly used strain of immunocompromised mice that prevents transplant rejection. The image sparked a wave of anti-genetic engineering protests in the late 1990s, even though no genetic manipulation was carried out in this experiment. Joseph Vacanti joked that the mouse lived out a happy, normal life after having the ear removed. However, it is standard practice for lab workers to kill the mice with which they work, and the original paper they published mentioned the mice condition after sacrifice. Sacrifice means that lab workers killed them. Number 10. The human pig. Researchers have successfully grown human cells inside early-stage pig embryos in the lab for the first time, resulting in pig-human hybrids known as interspecies chimeras. While the experiment is still in its early stages, it could one day lead to a lab-grown human organs that can be transplanted into those in need, potentially saving thousands of lives. Human stem cells were injected into early-stage pig embryos in the experiment by researchers. These hybrid embryos were then implanted into surrogate sows and allowed to develop through the first trimester. More than 150 of the embryos developed into chimeras, indicating they had developed organ precursors such as the heart and liver, but they only contained a small number of human cells. Roughly 1 in 10,000 of the hybrid cells were human. This is a proof of concept experiment demonstrating the feasibility of human-pig hybrids. The goal is to develop a method to use these lab-grown human parts for transplants. Number 9. Zubrin. The Zubrin is a hybrid of domestic cattle and Wisents. The Wisent is the European bison, hence the Zubrin is analogous to the American buffalo. Zubrin were first developed by Leopard Wallachy in 1847. After World War I, various scientists considered Zubrin a potential replacement for domestic cattle. Zubrin turned out to be more durable and less susceptible to disease. In addition, they could be bred on marginal grazing land with no farm infrastructure and with minimum husbandry in vast state agricultural farms. During the first 16 years of experiments, 71 animals were born. The animal was intended to become a hardy and cheap alternative to cattle. The experiment was continued until the late 1980s, when the results of the breeding programs were deemed unsatisfactory. There were fears that Zubrin would crossbreed with the endangered wild Wisents, contaminating their gene pool. I guess when you start toying with genetic composition, it can backfire. Number 8. Spider goats. Researchers from the University of Wyoming have developed a method for incorporating a spider's silk spinning genes into goats, allowing them to harvest silk protein from the goat's milk for a variety of applications. Because of its strength and elasticity, spider silk fiber could be used in a variety of medical applications, including the creation of artificial ligaments and tendons, eye sutures, and jaw repair. Silk could also be used in bulletproof vests and improved car airbags. Obtaining enough spider silk for these applications normally necessitates many spiders. Spiders, on the other hand, are territorial, so when the researchers attempted to set up spider farms, the spiders killed each other. To address this issue, Randy Lewis, a professor of molecular biology at the University of Wyoming, and colleagues decided to insert the dragline silk gene from spiders into goats in such a way that the goats would only produce the protein in their milk. The gene, like any other genetic factor, is only found in a small percentage of goats. For example, 3 of 7 goat kids born in February 2010 tested positive for the silk protein gene. When the transgenic goats have children and begin lactating, the researchers will collect the milk and purify the spider silk protein in much higher quantities. Aside from their ability to produce spider silk protein, the goats do not appear to have any other differences in health, appearance, or behavior when compared to goats lacking the gene, according to the researchers. The scientists hope to incorporate the silk gene into alfalfa plants in the future, which they believe will produce even more silk. They explain that not only is alfalfa widely available, but it also has a high protein content, making it an ideal crop for producing silk protein. Number 7. Mullard. The mullard duck is a large wetlands bird in the dappling duck family in Anatidae. It is a cross between the Muscovy duck and the Pekin duck, a domestic duck. Mullard is also spelled Moulard duck. It is also referred to as the meal duck. The mullard duck has a wide body and pale pink beak. Wattles, which are the loose skin around its eyes, and beak are usually pink or red. It has a flat, broad tail. Its webbed feet have long claws. It has brown eyes. It can reach a length of 26 to 33 inches and have a wingspan of 54 to 60 inches. Females are roughly half the size of males. It is widespread in Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia. It is a non-migratory bird, hence it doesn't leave its home to migrate. It prefers densely forested swamps, lakes, and streams, as well as nearby grasslands and farms. It frequently roosts in trees at night. It eats small fish, frogs, newts, reptiles, crabs, shrimp, insects, centipedes, and millipedes in shallow water. Because the mullard duck is sterile, it cannot reproduce. Muller duck babies are typically born when the father, the drake, is a Muscovy duck and the mother duck is a Pekin duck. The mother duck lays 8 to 16 eggs in a tree hole nest. After 32 days, the eggs hatch. Muller ducks hatch from about half of the eggs. The chicks are premature, which means they are born with soft feathers. For 10 to 12 weeks, the chicks remain with their mother. When the father duck is a Pekin duck and the mother duck is a Muscovy duck, the offspring are known as hinnies. Number 6. Transgenic dogs. Ruppy is the first transgenic dog in the world. Ruppy, a cloned beagle, and 4 other beagles produce a fluorescent protein that glows red when exposed to ultraviolet light. Ruppy was created in 2009 by a group of South Korean scientists. The dog was cloned through viral transfection of fibroblast cells expressing the red fluorescent gene. The nucleus of the transfected fibroblast was then inserted into the enucleated oocyte of another dog, resulting in the generation of red fluorescent protein-expressing dog oocytes. These cloned embryos were then implanted into a surrogate mother's uterus. It was hoped that this procedure would be used to study the effect of the hormone estrogen on fertility. The Ruppy puppy was then shipped to the north of Croatia, where it was thoroughly examined by a doctor who determined the puppy could be classified as a dog even though it had not been born entirely naturally, as it possessed all of the characteristics of the species. Number 5. Singing mouse. Japanese scientists have confirmed that they created a mouse that tweets like a bird as part of a genetically engineered evolution they hope to shed light on the origins of human language. The animal was created by a team of researchers at the University of Osaka as part of their Evolved Mouse project, in which they used genetically modified mice that are prone to miscopying DNA and thus mutations. Evolution is propelled forward by mutations. They had the genetically modified mice crossbred for generations to see what would happen. They examined the newborn mice one by one. They discovered a mouse singing like a bird one day, noting that the singing mouse was born by chance, but the trait would still be passed down to future generations. They were taken aback because they had expected mice with a different physical shape. The laboratory now has over 100 singing mice for further study. The team hopes their findings will shed light on how human language evolved, similar to how researchers in other countries study songbirds, such as finches, to better understand the origins of human language. In the meantime, with 100 mice, they have enough to start a choir. Number 4. Sterile pink ballworm. The pink ballworms, also known as pinkies, and are the larvae of the little gray insect, which are among the world's most infamous agricultural pests. The plan is to flood the population with sterile moths to limit the spread of toxin-resistant pink ballworms. Pink ballworm larvae feed on cotton seeds by burrowing into cotton balls. They destroy the cotton lint in the process. Because of the feeding damage, other insects and fungi can enter the ball and cause additional damage. Number 3. See-through frog. You'll have to pay close attention to get even a quick glimpse of the glass frog when it's at home in the Amazon rainforest. These tiny creatures spend most of their lives in trees, only touching down during mating season. Unfortunately, they're comfortable in several locations of the mysterious Amazon, which gives you a solid maybe for seeing one on your adventure. And you may enhance your chance of spying these delightful see-through amphibians if you use your feet rather than a boat to explore their habitat. Glass frogs are so named because their belly is nearly transparent, giving an X-ray view of their organs, bones, and blood vessels. On top, however, they're typically light green and may have darker and lighter variations in color that help them hide out in the trees of their choice. They also have forward-facing eyes, a rather unique feature among frogs, whose eyes typically face outward or off to the sides. One lime green species discovered in Costa Rica in 2015 made internet news as a Kermit lookalike because of its bulging white eyes with perfectly defined black pupils. Glass frogs are nocturnal, coming out at night to hunt for food, which scientists believe consists of flies, spiders, and other small invertebrates. This makes them more difficult for daytime hikers to spot. But if you watch carefully, you may find them snoozing on a flavored leaf or branch while the sun is shining. They prefer to settle high in the trees, but make their way closer to the ground to mate and lay eggs. Number 2. Featherless chicken. The first time most people see a unique, eccentric, and downright bizarre naked neck chicken, it will stay with them forever. When animal lovers first see a naked neck chicken, they always ask, "What's wrong with that chicken?" without trying to offend. Yes, these girls are odd looking, but that's how nature made them. Naked neck chickens, which originated in Transylvania, are known for their featherless heads, which give them a turkey-like appearance. There have been rumors those naked necks are a cross between a turkey and a chicken, but scientists have long since debunked this conspiracy theory. Naked-necked chickens are undeniably unique, like Lindy Lauper or Freddie Mercury, which only adds to the appeal of this exceptional breed. Naked-necked chooks, strange as it might be, are incredibly rare. Many people believe these thinly feathered birds are molting or sick, but this breed can withstand both hot Australian summers and cold European winters. Because of its toughness, the naked-necked chicken is one of the best birds to hold in the Australian outback, as it can endure anything from extreme droughts to blusty winter nights. It is important to remember that while naked-necked chickens can withstand cold temperatures, they still need some assistance from their caring owners. The naked-necked chicken is a prime example of how not all chickens have motherhood on their minds. These ladies are rarely broody because they would rather be grazing in the garden, eating chicken feed, or playing with their other feathered mates. Number 1. Growler bear. A hunter in Nunavut shot an unusual looking bear, which turned out to be a grizzly polar bear hybrid. A remarkable finding that, according to a researcher, is becoming more popular. They discovered the animal near Arviat, Manitoba, about 260 kilometers north of Churchill, on top of a hill. It appeared to be an Arctic fox or small polar bear from afar. When they got closer, it looked like a grizzly bear, but it was the color of a polar bear. It was later discovered to be a half-breed grizzly. It has the look of a polar bear, but has grizzly bear brown paws and massive claws. It is also shaped like a grizzly bear's head. The bear is a hybrid between a grizzly and a polar bear, according to scientists. Because of their genetic similarity, polar bears and grizzly bears have interbred for a long time. Interbreeding is more common because of climate change, according to scientists. Since grizzly bears are migrating north due to climate change, the ranges of grizzly bears and polar bears are becoming more entwined. We are all intrigued by these hybrid creatures, but we also know that breeding animals of different species can be risky. The result is stunning, but I don't believe humans should be tinkering with it. Nonetheless, I have to say my favorite was the glass frog. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below. Well, that's it for our countdown of 15 creepy animals created by humans in a lab. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.